This video will be slightly different than the ones I usually post. Usually I upload videos on fruit trees, but this season I'll be adding some plants to my garden. A good majority of these plants are ones that I've never grown before. A few others that I have. There'll be some cucumbers, squash, zucchini, tomatoes, peas, and strawberries. I also have some peppers and melons that I grew from seed, and I intend to plant those as well, but they're still a little too small. They should be ready for planting in another week or so. First up will be my zucchini plants. This one here is a dark green zucchini, and these other two are green tiger zucchinis. These were all grown from seed and recently planted in this section. I intend to grow all of them vertically by staking them as soon as they put on a little bit more growth. And over here is where my stone fruit trees are, is where I planted some strawberries. I planted these in the ground several weeks ago. They're ever-bearing strawberries. I'll list the variety on the screen. I have 4 planted in each of the boxes. I also bought a sequoia strawberry plant from a big box store, which I'll be growing in this 10-gallon grow bag. And over on this side I have some snow peas and some sugar daddy peas. There were 5 trees that were planted, or 5 plants that were planted in this area, but some slugs got to most of them. This one over here on the far end is completely gone. You can only see the stub on it. The one next to it is not doing too good either. It got attacked as well. There are only about 2 left. These 2 over here that look like they might survive, if I can keep the slugs off of them. I recently saw a video where they were using beer to attract and kill slugs. I've been filling some of these small plastic containers like the ones you see here. Been filling them with beer, and it seems to be working well. I have several scattered throughout the yard, and first night I tried it, I got somewhere around 50 out of 3 traps. So now I'm placing a beer trap with young plants. Hopefully that will give them a better chance to survive. And here in these 2 planters, I'll be growing my tomatoes, or at least most of them. On the planter on the left, I'll be growing 3 San Marzano plants. I've already planted a couple of them. These were purchased from a big box store. They were planted last month. This one here was grown from seed. I'm going to allow it to put on a little bit more growth before planting it. And these other two plants I'll be growing in a different area. I'll be putting them over here in this section. I'll be training them to grow along this wire fence. I'll put one here and then one in the other fence. And over on this other planter, I have my Roma tomatoes. I've already planted one, and this one here. And these others will be planted as soon as they put on a little bit more growth. All of the tomato plants in both of these planters will be trained to grow vertically. I'll be using string and some clips to grow and train them for vertical growth. I also have these pipe extensions so that as the plants get taller, all I have to do is connect these pipes to extend the height of the trellis. This will be the first time that I grow them in this manner, so hopefully it'll work well. And over in this section I have some squash and cucumber plants growing on this pea trellis. All of these plants were grown from seed. The ones on the left are two honey butter squash plants. And the one on the right is a national pickling cucumber. All the plants here will also be trained to grow vertically up along this pea trellis. I have a few more squash varieties that I've grown from seed that will be planted in this area as soon as they get a little bit bigger. Over here in this area I have these tall cages where I intend to grow some melon plants vertically. The plants, which I also started from seed, are still too small to be planted, but they should be ready in another week or so. The varieties I'll be growing here are small size melons, so I believe these towers will be strong enough to support the weight. Okay, now on to some of my trees that are starting to develop flower buds. First up are my jujube trees. This one was the first to come out of dormancy. It started to leaf out early March, and now, as you can see, it has several flower buds that are starting to develop. This other one here in the back is my lead jujube. It's only been out of dormancy for a few weeks, but it too is starting to develop some flower buds. And here's my Celeste fig tree, which is just starting to develop some figs. I have 5 other varieties, and this one is the first to start pushing out the crop. It's just starting to develop now, but it's got quite a few in several of the branches, so should get a good crop on this one as well. This group of trees here are my persimmon trees. The one in the front is a coffee cake persimmon, which is put on a good amount of growth. It's also starting to flower. I've never grown this variety before, but from research I've done, it is classified as a non-astringent pollination variant, which means that in order to get that brown flesh color that is supposed to be very sweet in flavor, it has to be pollinated. And the best pollinator for this one is listed as the chocolate persimmon. Which is the tree that is in the back, right here. This one here is the chocolate persimmon, and it has several flower buds, but none have opened yet, but it's pretty close. This one is classified as an astringent variety, which requires pollination from the coffee cake. I believe if it is not pollinated, it will remain astringent. The coffee cake, on the other hand, will develop a sweet flavor if it's allowed to ripen on the tree to a point where it becomes soft to the touch. If it's not pollinated, at least that's what I've read from some of the research I've done. I'll keep you posted and let you know what happens with these. By the way, this other one here is a Fuyu persimmon. It does not require a pollinator. I've grown this variety before, and it's self-fruitful and has a very excellent flavor as well. It's got some flower buds that have formed, but it's still a ways from blooming. And here's my cherry of the Rio Grande. This tree produced a heavy set of blooms, but shortly afterwards, we had some really strong winds that came through our area, and the winds were so strong it actually knocked down this big tree growing in this really heavy container. The strong winds stripped off all the leaves, but it looks like the tree is still going to manage to set some fruit. There's a few that are starting to develop, as you can see here. There's not too many on the tree, but at least I will get some off of it this season. And lastly, here are my honeyberry plants. I purchased these from an online nursery that is a Tundra Honeyberry on the left and Blue Moon Honeyberry on the right. Before purchasing these, I tried to find out how many chill hours these plants require in order to set fruit. The only info I was able to find was that they will grow in my zone, but no info regarding the actual chill hours. These plants are native to Russia, so I'm guessing that they have a high chill hour requirement. I don't get too many chill hours in my area, so I'm not sure they will produce any fruit, but I thought I'd give them a try. I recently transplanted them to these 2-gallon grow bags, and they are doing really well. Both are starting to develop flower buds. The nursery I purchased these trees from, I believe, is located in Connecticut, so any chill hours that were accumulated this past winter were not from my area. The real test will be next season, once they've had a chance to get acclimated to their new surroundings, so we'll see if they are able to produce any flowers and set any fruit next season. I'll keep you posted. Well, that will be it for now. I hope you enjoyed watching. If so, please consider subscribing to my channel so you can follow along. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. As always, stay safe, grow your own, and thank you for watching.